Today, we're diving into a pretty radical shift in perspective. It's this idea that the divine, whatever you call it, isn't way up in some distant sky, but actually right at the center of your own being. Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. That sense that you're looking for answers, for meaning, for some kind of connection somewhere out there. But what if that whole search is pointed in completely the wrong direction? What if the very thing we're looking for has been right here inside us all along?
So let's start with an image that's probably really familiar because it's so deep in our culture. It's the idea of a distant, separate divinity. You know, you picture a king on a throne, high up in the clouds, really, really far away from us.
So on the one hand, you have this powerful image we inherited, a faraway throne in the sky. But the source material we're looking at today just flips that on its head entirely. It suggests the reality is way more intimate, like a whisper, coming directly from your own heart. It's a huge shift from searching outward to listening inward.
This one line, wow, it just changes the whole game. The idea is that even the word God can make us think of something distant, something far above. But the reality here is one of closeness, that the divine isn't separate from you at all. It is you, and its true nature isn't about power or rules, but simply love.
And when you start to think that way, it totally changes how you see yourself. It pushes back against that feeling of being small or unimportant in this massive universe. Instead, it says, no, your very essence is made of divine fire. You're a spark of the creative force itself.
Okay, so this leads us to the absolute core idea of this whole text, the temple within. If the divine isn't out there, then the big question is, where is it?
And this brings us to this key concept, I am. It's not just a phrase, it's presented as the name for this divine presence inside you. And look at the qualities, unconditional, eternal. It doesn't depend on what you do or what you believe. And this is the most important part. It's not something you have to go out and earn. It's a truth you just have to remember.
This is probably the most powerful metaphor in the whole piece. I mean, forget about buildings made of stone and wood. Your own body, your awareness, you're the sacred space. You are the temple. Heaven isn't some destination you get to later. It's a state of being you can feel right now because you're literally its home.
And this points to a really important difference, remembering versus learning. You know, learning kind of implies you're missing something and you need to go get it from the outside. But remembering, that suggests the truth, the light, is already in you. The journey isn't about finding something new, it's about uncovering what deep down you've always known.
Okay, so this is a beautiful idea, for sure. But how do we actually live it? This next part is all about moving from the big idea to the day-to-day practice. And it all starts with the idea of surrender. Now, surrender here doesn't mean giving up or admitting defeat. It's really an act of trust. It's the practice of taking all your fears, your worries, your burdens, all that heavy stuff, and just handing it over to that divine presence inside you. It's an invitation to be held, not judged, especially in those moments when you feel like you're falling apart.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, first, you just notice it. You acknowledge the fear, the weight, whatever you're carrying. Second, you consciously practice letting it go. That's surrender. And third, and this is where things get really transformative, you start to look for that same divine spark, not just in yourself, but in every single person you meet.
The text actually calls this the game of love, which is such a beautiful way to think about it. The game, the challenge, is to see that I am everywhere, not just in the people you already love, like your brother, but in a total stranger, not just in happy moments, but in their cries. The challenge is to find it in the broken and even in the incredible power of silence.
And remember that distant throne in the sky we started with? This brings it right down to earth. Every single person you meet becomes a sacred space, a living throne. If you actually start to think that way, it could completely change how you see the world and everyone in it.
So all of this brings us to our final and maybe most profound takeaway. This isn't just a nice philosophy or a practice to try. It's a fundamental shift in who you think you are. It's all about your true identity.
And there it is, stated about as clearly as it can be. The idea that we're separate is just an illusion. Your real you, your true identity, is this deeply interconnected reality. I am in you, you are in me. There's no daylight between the two.
And this all leads to a really subtle but absolutely enormous shift in how we think about this. The final conclusion isn't that you are a follower of some separate being or a creation by it. The conclusion is one of total, complete unity.
It suggests you are not just with the divine, you and the divine are one and the same. So we'll leave you with this question to ponder. After all this searching, all this seeking, what if that profound truth of the universe, that deep connection you've been looking for your whole life, isn't in some ancient book or on a remote mountaintop, but is as close, as simple, and as always there as your very next breath?